guys, it's your girl Lizzie and welcome back to a brand new video. If this is your first time on my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. And if you're back to watch another video, welcome back to my channel. So if you can see in the title, I wanted to do more of a sit down video today. I wanted to do a video on all the jobs I've had. This isn't going to be like a video about how the interview process and all the boring stuff. I really wanted to do more of like a story time kind of, so like tell you guys about each job that I had, as well as, you know, like little stories or my experience or like the pros and cons about working there. So this video is going to be a little bit interesting and I don't know, I think it's going to be a fun video because I'm kind of excited to do this. So I'm 27 now and I've had quite a few jobs and I wanted to share with you guys the different experiences I've had working at these jobs. I'm not throwing shade at these jobs, this is just my experience. If you work at any of these jobs now and you really like it or you really don't like it as much, that's your experience, but this is my experience. I'm going to give you guys like little story times about each of the jobs, why I like the jobs, why I didn't like the job, anything that just has to do with the job. So I'm going to be talking about the first job I ever had to the last job I had, which is the job that I had before this job. So I work at Winners now, which is a TJX company, but that job is going to be out of this video. I don't want to say anything, you know, I lose my job, so we are not going to do that. So if you guys want to know about the different jobs I've had, as well as like the experience and like what I learned from these jobs, because all of these jobs did help me to where I am today. So if you guys want to know my experiences on all these jobs, then just keep watching. So like I said, I'm 27 now. I had my first job at 18. I know a lot of people start when they're in high school, like 15 or 16. I didn't start working until I was 18 because I'm not saying I was a bad student, I just didn't pay attention in school. So like I already did not pay attention in school and my grades were honestly not the best at all. They were terrible. So if I started going to work, you know, it just would have not worked out for me. So I didn't start working until I was 18, like an actual job. So my first job was in August of 2013. It was at the CNE. So that's the Canadian National Exhibition, or the Canada National Exhibition, I don't even know, but it's just like a theme park. Honestly, it was probably the most boring job. Okay, I lied, it's not the most boring job, but it was pretty boring. I was working at one of those like game stations where like people threw darts, and if they won they got a prize. That was literally my job, and it wasn't that long because the CNE is only open for 2 weeks, which means it was only a 2-week job, but I absolutely hated it. I hate being outside in the sun. I hate the summer. I just can't. Like I hate the heat. I hate anything that has to do with making me feel like muggy and hot and anything. I love winter. I love the cold. So I was there for like 2 days. Yeah, I quit after the second day. I didn't really quit, I just left because I was new at working and I didn't know about those, like, you know, you have to give 2 weeks. But then if I gave the 2 weeks, it didn't make sense because the job itself was 2 weeks. So if I gave the 2 weeks, then I would have been there, you know, until the end. So I just left. I honestly just left. But the pro about that was, at the time I was with my ex and he also worked at the CNE, so we worked together. So that was the only good thing. And the other thing was we had free admission. So we had like a little card with our picture on it, so you just use that to get in. And they never took it away from me after I left, so I was still going to the CNE for free for like the 2 weeks. So since I only lasted 2 days at the CNE, I ended up looking for another job like literally the day after, and I ended up having a interview like that same week, which was at McDonald's. I feel like everyone has worked at McDonald's. The reason I worked at McDonald's was the location I actually worked at was like super close to my house, but my first day was absolutely terrible. I still remember this day like it was yesterday. So I was being trained, orientation happened, and then right after orientation it was my training like hours or whatever. And I remember I was making coffee. I was learning how to use the coffee machine and some lady started screaming at me. And the location I worked at wasn't at the best like area. Like the area I worked at was pretty like bad. Like it wasn't a good area. Like literally the last thing I heard about this McDonald's was like a month ago when someone got shot inside of it. So let me continue. I was learning how to make coffee and some lady started screaming at me saying, "Oh, you got my order wrong, you got my order wrong." But I wasn't like, I was facing away from her and I keep hearing her yelling. And guys, I just took it and I have a McDonald's cup right now. But anyways, so I ended up like turning around because I hear this lady like talking. So I turn around and I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you made my order wrong, whatever. I was like, bro, I haven't even touched the cash register. Obviously I didn't say that, I said that in my head because I'm like, what? I don't even know how to make an order yet. I haven't even touched the cash register. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. And this lady just starts screaming at me. And you know what this lady does? She has a muffin and she throws it at me. Like, what? This isn't the job I signed up for? But yeah, that was like the first day ever. But after that, it wasn't that bad, to be honest. It was actually pretty... It wasn't really that bad. The reason I really liked that job was because my aunt worked there, my cousin worked there, and my sister worked there, and one of our friends worked there. So it was like a little clique we had. So every shift I had, I worked with somebody that I knew. So it wasn't that bad. And then I got really close to the manager. She would, I wouldn't say favor me because she didn't really favor me. She just like, she was cool. We were chill, we were fine. So I did end up liking that job. I was a cashier, which helped me so much when it came to my customer service skills and my patience again. I worked like night shifts, so like 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So there was clubs around us. So because I worked that night shift, I saw a lot of people who were like intoxicated, not on their best behavior. But I ended up learning a lot of my customer service skill from them. So that was really good. I never worked in the kitchen, so I never made the food. I just did cash and then the drive-thru. I absolutely loved the drive-thru. I was always by myself, chilling. And I got really good hours. Like, they gave me so many hours, I guess because I wasn't in school, and I got like a lot of hours. I remember when I got my first paycheck, I was like, jeez. So yeah, so because I worked in customer service skill majority of my time at McDonald's, it did help me with my customer service, my patience. It taught me how to speak with customers and not make them get angry, I guess, because some people are very impatient. So McDonald's was really helpful with that. I learned like how to work in a fast-paced environment. I didn't really have any complaints about that job, so I feel like it wasn't a bad job for me. Again, I had my friends and family who worked there, so it was kind of a cool job. It wasn't that bad. But then the job that I had after that, actually, like, I got it from working at McDonald's. I was in the drive-thru one day and some guy pulled up and he was just talking to me. He's like, hey, is your sister whatever? And I was like, yeah, how do you know my sister? And he goes, how I'm your sister's manager at Chipotle. So yeah, so my sister was working at McDonald's and Chipotle at the time. So I was like, oh, cool. And he was like, do you want to come in for an interview? And I was like, sure, I'll come in for an interview. This is like when I was still like new when it came to interview. The only interview I ever had was McDonald's. C&E wasn't really, there wasn't really an interview process. It was just like whoever wanted to work there worked there. There was literally no interview at all. I was like, yeah, sure. And then he's like, you can come in tomorrow. And I was like, I literally don't even know what to say, what to do. I don't have that much experience other than McDonald's. But I was like, sure, you know what? I'm just gonna go, whatever, it is what it is. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. But then I was like, you know what am I gonna do with 2 jobs? Like, I'm like fresh out of school. I don't even know what the heck I'm doing with my life. He ended up scheduling the interview, I think, like that Friday. I don't remember the days. Just say it was probably a Tuesday and he's like, you can come in on the Friday. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So that Friday I ended up going to the interview. Oh, sorry, I forgot to add that I was actually at McDonald's for 2 months now. So it hasn't been that long. It was only, you know, a little while. But honestly, I felt like I was working there for like years because the amount of hours I had was crazy. I was working like almost 50 hours a week. It was insane. This interview for Chipotle was coming up, which I'm going to get to, but let's just say McDonald's was coming to an end. But again, really liked the job. It wasn't that bad. I got really good hours, learned customer service, learned how to work in a fast-paced environment. Didn't really have any issues with like any other employees, or other than that one time I got a muffin thrown at me. But other than that, it wasn't a bad job. We are now going to move to my next job, which is Chipotle. Just reminding you guys, I'm still working at McDonald's right now, but McDonald's is coming to an end, but you're opening a new door, which is Chipotle. So I ended up going in for my Chipotle interview, and the manager who ended up coming through the drive-thru was the one who interviewed me. And then at the end of the interview, he goes, okay, what are your hours like, and can you start tomorrow? And I was like, what? He's like, can you start tomorrow? And my dumbass, this is when I never knew how to say no to anything. So I'm like, yeah, let alone I had a shift the next day at McDonald's. So he's like, great. So he puts me in, whatever. I don't know if he was just really nice to me because my sister worked there and that's why I got the job, or because it was his birthday. It was also his birthday that day. So I think he was just being, you know, I think he was just in a good mood. So that's why I got hired, which I'm actually really happy for, because Chipotle is probably one of my best jobs, if not one of the best. Like, honestly, absolutely love that job, but I'll get to that. So I ended up getting hired. I didn't know what the hell to do with McDonald's. I was a little like, oh my goodness, how am I gonna tell them that I can't come in tomorrow? So I ended up pulling a sick call in. So I called them to tell them that I can't come in. They're like, okay, cool, whatever. I think they were nice about it because I was already working so much. So, and I don't really call in for sick at work, so they ended up, you know, saying fine, no problem. My orientation was at like 9 a.m. and they like talk to you, tell you about the job, tell you about the workplace, and then they give you free food. So it's like 9:30 in the morning and I'm eating a whole burrito. Like, how more amazing can this get? But I ended up leaving McDonald's after that day. I just never went back. I told them how I got another job, and Chipotle did not pay minimum wage like McDonald's did. They did pay a little bit more, not that much more, but they did pay more than what McDonald's was paying. So I ended up staying with Chipotle for the next 3 years. So just like McDonald's, I got hired as a cashier. Absolutely loved working there. I worked at Yorkdale Mall. This is when Chipotle only had 2 locations. So if you're from Toronto, one of the locations was the one on Yonge and Dundas, so outside the Easton Center, and the other location was Yorkdale. So we were the only 2 locations that they had at the time. Or was there 3? I think there was one in Midtown. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was one in Midtown, which is like Yonge and Eglinton. So I think there was 3. But other than that, there was like no other ones. I think it was only 3. Now though, there's like Chipotle everywhere. So this is like 2013 November-ish time. I got hired again, like I said, as a cashier, and I worked at Yorkdale Mall. So if you guys know Yorkdale Mall, so to everyone who doesn't know Yorkdale Mall, it's a mall. It has a movie theater. It has so much like designer stores. It's just like one of the biggest malls. I don't know if it is the biggest, but it probably isn't the biggest. But it's a really big mall in Toronto, and honestly, back in the day, this mall used to be super packed, like packed all the time. Weekends were like brutal. Could never find parking. I don't know how it is now, because since the pandemic happened, I haven't really been to Yorkdale for a while, but let's just say that this mall was like insanely busy all the time. And because us being one of the 3 Chipotles at the time, it was busy, and our line was so long all the time. It always looped. But again, that's where my McDonald's experience came in, helped me with the fast-paced, helped me with the customer service skills, helped me know how to like multitask really quick, all that stuff. And then the other benefits was free food all the time. So that's how I got really, you know, fat, because of Chipotle. I ate so much. And then the people that I worked with, I fucking love them. Like, they were amazing. And my sister worked there too, which is kind of funny because I don't know why me and my sister end up working at the same place all the time. Everybody was so close in age. I was 18 at the time, so everyone was literally ranged between like 18 to 24. So we were all in that like same like age range. Of course, some customers, again, you have those rude customers, but I felt like working in that environment with people that I actually really liked, all those like bad customers didn't really like faze me, or I didn't really care about them. I made really good friends. I still have friends from there to this day. I still talk to some of the people that I worked with. We were honestly like so close. Like, this whole crew was like close. We went to bars after work. We went to clubs after work. Like, it was so much fun. My managers were super friendly. I absolutely loved each and every one of them. There was so much like things that happened in that store that obviously I can't talk about on YouTube, but let's just say that Lizzie had a great time at Chipotle. So because I got hired as a cashier, I ended up learning all the other positions in that store, which is, you know, grill, prep, salsa, tortilla. there's just a lot of different positions in that store. I actually really liked it. I know some people who worked at Chipotle and us like did not like it at all, but again, this is my experience. I feel like it was the people that I worked with which made this job so much more better. So after 3 years, of course, people started to leave. My friends, the people that I was so close with, my favorite manager ended up getting transferred to another location and he was like one of the best people that I ever met. But he ended up getting transferred and we were like this, literally like this. We were so like, we were like the best of friends at that store. But yeah, he ended up getting transferred. One of the other managers got transferred, which I was also close with. A lot of people just started going their own ways. We started getting new managers, new employees. But then after a while, I personally felt like that store was becoming like diverse. But yeah, so we got a new manager. I personally did not like him that much. The first thing he told me when I first met him, which some people probably won't care, but my hair was red at the time, and y'all know me. You guys know that my hair is like me. Like, I change my hair color all the time because it's just who I am. And I remember I had red hair that time, and he came into the store, barely talked to him, and the first thing he told me was, you need to change your hair color. It's not like appropriate or it's not professional. I've been there for almost 3 years and not a single time has my old manager or anybody else from the store ever said anything to me about my hair. So I don't understand the problem. It wasn't a problem for anyone else except for him. Not even the area manager had anything to say about this or whoever was on top of him. But this guy was just like, you need to change your hair. And I was like, I'm not changing my hair. Like, it's who I am. I'm not going to change it because you want me to change my hair. Plus, the outline when I, applied here said, do not discriminate somebody because of the way they look or all that stuff. Like, you can have piercings, tattoos. You can literally be anything at Chipotle because they won't judge you. So, like, why y'all judging me on my hair? So that was the first negative thing I did not like about him. Then after a while, one of our other managers got transferred. And this was, like, the last manager that I was close with. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? So they started bringing more people in. I don't know if it was just a him thing or these are the type of people he wanted to hire, but he only hired people from his ethnicity. So before my manager left and all these people started getting fired or started quitting because of what was going on, he ended up like getting rid of people. He started hiring a lot of people that was more from his ethnicity. Before this, we had like Black people, Spanish people, white people, Asian people. Like, we literally had different people in the store. But once he got there, he only hired people from his like ethnicity. So when I would work there, everybody would be speaking their language. And then there was just like that small group of people who weren't a part of that group because they only spoke their language. So we just started feeling like we were getting pushed away. I ended up hitting up my old manager and I was like, hey, is your store hiring? Because I don't want to be here anymore. I was like, can y'all transfer me out and like, can I come with you guys? And he was like, let me talk to the other manager, see what we can do. And he called me, he's like, yeah, you know what, we're gonna do this. We want you to come with us. And I was like, bless. So I ended up leaving and I got transferred to his location. But I wasn't there for that long because it was honestly like a long mission to get there. It took me like 2 hours every day to get there and it was just draining me out. Like, if I started at 7 a.m. I had to leave my house at like 5:30 in the morning, which means I had to wake up at like 4:30 or 4 in the morning, and my shifts were until like 3 or 4. And if it was until 4, then I would not get home until like 6:30, which means I only had basically 9 hours until my next shift started, and I would basically be just drained out, tired. So I ended up having to quit because of that. I was kind of sad. I did really like the job. Like I said, I still talk to everybody now, so there really isn't an issue of that. But yeah, that was my experience working at Chipotle. Again, I really liked it. Other than the whole like everybody leaving and all that stuff. But other than that, the environment was really good. I really liked it. I don't know, I really did like it. I feel like it changed a lot now though. I was watching videos of people talking about Chipotle. Before, Chipotle used to only hire within, if that makes sense. Like, if you start as a cashier, they would work on you to help you become a general manager if you wanted to become a general manager. But now they like hire outside, so like they'll hire somebody as a kitchen manager, they'll hire somebody as a general manager. Like they don't do that helping people grow anymore, so that kind of sucks. So the company has changed a lot, but when I worked there, it was one of the best jobs ever. I do think that's going to be the longest little like story time compared to all the other jobs, because like I said, that was one of my favorite jobs. So yeah, after Chipotle finished, I ended up going to Aerie. So it's Aerie by American Eagle. It's like a store that sells lingerie, PJs, just like girly stuff. So I ended up going there only for the holidays, so the Christmas holiday. It wasn't the best job, to be honest. I didn't really talk to anybody there. I felt like I was an outsider. Didn't really, you know, have a relationship with absolutely no one. I felt like everybody at that job was just trying to hit their like sales goals, get their commission, all that stuff. So I absolutely did not talk to no one. To this day, I don't even remember anyone's name. Don't even remember the manager's name. Don't remember any of the employees I worked with. I don't remember anything. And that job wasn't really like where you go and talk to customers, because if you work in retail, you know that you don't want to be annoying and go up to customers so much as and ask if they want help, because some customers just want to go there to just look and do their own thing, because that's like me. So I didn't really talk to anybody, didn't really even talk to the customers. I literally just folded clothes and just organized the shelves. That's all I did. So honestly, I didn't really learn much from that company. I do know that they gave a lot of free clothes if you hit like a specific goal, if you were like one of the top selling salesperson, anything like that. Other than that, I can't really help you guys with Aerie or American Eagle if you guys work there. My cousin worked there for like maybe 3 or 4 years, so like I can ask her, she can help you guys out. But that job was absolutely not for me. Again, I was only there for the Christmas holiday for like December, January, and that's it. The next job after that was Booster Juice. It is a smoothie store, a smoothie juice store. It's almost like Jamba Juice, basically almost exactly the same. Again, I did not like it. I did not like it because they had such a small amount of employees. Like it was literally like 5 people. So it was either you working all alone or you working with a manager, that's it. Me, coming from like McDonald's and Chipotle, where I had a huge group of people where I loved to talk to, always had something to do, there was always just something to do at Chipotle and McDonald's. There was never a time where you're just standing around doing nothing. But Booster Juice was a different story. That if you have no customers, if the store was already cleaned, literally it was not it. Like it was the worst job. Not the worst job, okay, can't say the worst job. It was just the boringest job ever. Actually, hold on guys, I said that you either work with an employee, another employee, or a manager. I actually mean that you would work with the owners. There wasn't any managers in that store. It was just like a mom and a daughter, and they were both the ones who owned the store. They didn't really talk to the employees. They were just like whatever. So they were just there. So if I was working with one of them, I was not saying a word to anyone other than the customers. So that job was not fast-paced at all. That job was not, there wasn't many customers who came into the store. So you were literally just standing there for like 6 hours doing absolutely nothing. But the only thing I can say about that store that was a positive thing for me was like memorizing things, like being really good when it came to memorizing stuff. There was so much different drinks, so you would have to memorize all these different drinks. So that did help me with my memory. That's the only pro, I guess. It wasn't like a place where I would bash and say, oh my god, I hated this job because of this, this. Honestly, it was just very slow paced, very boring. Really isn't much to say about that other than just teaching me how to be very patient, as well as helping me with my memory. So about 2 months into Booster Juice, I was like, you know what? I cannot stay here anymore. This is just so stressful. Like, I cannot just stand here and do absolutely nothing. So I ended up going on Indeed and I tried to look for jobs around me. So I ended up finding this place called Big Smoke Burger, which is a burger joint. I ended up applying and I got a call for an interview. They told me to come in, so I ended up going to the interview. The person who interviewed me was super nice, very, very nice. But then they never ended up calling me back. They didn't call me back and I didn't want to leave Booster Juice because I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna leave Booster Juice until I have a job, because I'm not trying to be jobless, because I was living with a roommate at the time and of course gotta pay rent and all that stuff. So I ended up doing booster juice for a while. And then one day I got a call from a random number, so I answer it and they're like, hey, this is whatever from Big Smoke Burger. And I was like, it's been like 2 months. Hey. And then he was like, so sorry about not calling you back when we had the interview. Unfortunately, I didn't have any position open at the moment, but we want to hire you as one of our grill people. And I was like, a grill person? I have to make the food. So I was like, oh, I don't want to do grill. I wanted to do like cash or something, because I was like, you know what? Cash is my thing. And that's what I did at every single other store that I worked at. I was like cashier, or I cannot make the food, because if I burn it or do anything bad with it, it is not going to be pretty. But like I said, I have a problem of saying no. So I was like, yeah, for sure. I'm down to take the job. Why not? So I ended up going to Big Smoke Burger and I had orientation, and then my training shift, which was learning about the grill and all that stuff. So I learned how to make the burgers and not burn them. So after I was there for a while, I ended up leaving Booster Juice, gave my 2 weeks, told them I'm not coming back because I got a new job, which was Big Smoke Burger. And this is another really good job that I had. I would say this job has to be in the top 2, which would be Chipotle and Big Smoke Burger. This job, again, I absolutely loved the employees. It was just a really good job altogether. So yeah, so I got hired as a grill person. I was so scared at first. I was like, I'm going to burn all these burgers. I'm going to like dry them out and they're going to taste horrible. But I don't know, after a while, like, I actually was good. I was really good at grill. Again, this burger joint was in the mall, which meant that a lot of customers, really fast-paced environment, so that helped me with that. My first like month or 2 there, I wasn't that close to everyone. I was like very shy, very quiet. But then I got really close to the managers and the supervisors. To this day, just like Chipotle, I still talk to them. I became really close to everyone in the store at the time. To this day, still talk to everyone, still message almost everyone in that store that I was close to. I was there for almost 2 years. 6 months into the job, I ended up getting promoted to supervisor. I got a supervisor job, which absolutely helped me with my customer service skills. Like, it really helped me. If there was a customer who wasn't happy, obviously they're gonna be like, hey, we need a supervisor here, which was me, and I would go to them and apologize, you know, give them the best customer service that I have. So that absolutely helped me with my customer service skills. Never really got a complaint from anyone. Never really had a bad experience with anybody in the store. We were all super close. We all worked close to a shisha lounge, so every single weekend we would all go for shisha after work. It was honestly the type of work environment you would want to work with, like where you're excited to go to work, because just everybody was just like so like happy and upbeat and all this stuff. It was just a really good job. There wasn't really any customers who were like terrible or rude. There was obviously those customers who would complain, being like, oh, my food was cold, my burger didn't taste right, just little things like that, which is so easy to fix. You literally just make them something new, or you want a refund, here you go, that's it. So there wasn't really that much of an issue in that store, or problems in that store. I did really like Big Smoke Burger because if we're talking about like food wise and the food industry wise, that place was like super, like that place like makes everything like, it's like house made, if that makes sense. Like everything is done, nothing is frozen. Absolutely nothing was frozen in that store. So if anybody ever tells you that Big Smoke Burger is like frozen stuff, it actually isn't. Everything's like prepped daily. So yeah. And also the food is really good. I absolutely love the food there. I used to always bring it home for me and my boyfriend. And talk about my boyfriend ended up becoming really close with the people in that store too. So to this day, we're still super close with them. Still see them as really close friends. Some of them I even see as family. Like we're like super close. That experience in that store was really good. To this day, the general manager ended up getting promoted, so he doesn't work there anymore. To this day, he still calls me and asks if I want to work for any of the stores that he runs, because I'm just that good of an employee. But unfortunately, I live too far. So all the places he keeps offering me are kind of far, so I always have to decline. But absolutely love that place. It was one of the best places that I worked at. I think like food industry places are just my thing. So like I said, I was there for a year and a half. Unfortunately, I ended up leaving because I moved. So I ended up moving in with my boyfriend. He was driving me to work for like 6 months until the point of where like it was enough. Like I didn't have a driver's license, I didn't have a car. Even if I got my driver's license, he's the one who would have to take the car to work. But I had to find something closer to home. But it was already like 6 years of me working straight without stopping at all, or like taking any breaks, any vacations, anything. I just felt like I had so much weight on my shoulder, and I always was so stressed and so tired, and like I just needed a break. So I ended up taking like a month off, and I didn't go back to work for about a month because, you know, I just needed a break. After that month, I was like, you know what, I need to get back to work. I cannot do this anymore. I need to find a job. So I ended up going to the mall and just went to drop my resume off at like every single store that I saw was hiring. And I ended up getting a call back from Pandora. So Pandora jewelry store. A lot of my videos here on YouTube are based on Pandora. I actually already made an experience video of me working at Pandora. Pandora was my first actual retail job other than Aerie. Aerie I don't really consider that much of a job because it wasn't that long. But Pandora, I was there for 2 years. It was 2 years that I was there. The job was, I wouldn't say fast-paced, but it was really busy. The reason I wouldn't say it's fast-paced is because, like I said in that Pandora experience video, you are with the customer as long as the customer wants to be with you. So you can be with a customer for 20 minutes because they know what they need, they know what they want, or you can be with the customer for 2 hours because they have absolutely no idea what they want or what they need. It was busy because you almost always had something to do, but it wasn't that fast paced because it's up to the customer. The only times I saw that it was like super busy would be during sales, during Christmas, Boxing Day, Mother's Day, Valentine's Days. It was like a love-hate relationship, to be honest. There were times where I really liked the job, and there was times where I didn't really like the job. I worked with a lot of women, females, and some of them aren't always that nice. Some of them are always in a mood. So there was days where, you know, I was like, okay, I like coming here, and then there was days where like I need this job. Management-wise, it was again a love-hate relationship. Sometimes the managers were okay, sometimes they weren't. Our area manager was terrible, absolutely. I don't really say hate because I don't really hate people, but I really disliked her. She was rude. She was so rude. It's like something was always up her. Yeah, she was just in a really bad mood all the time. But I don't really want to speak that much on that because I made a whole video about that. So if you guys want to check that video out, I'll put a link right over here. Or right over here, don't know what side it's gonna be on, but there'll be a link on that video so you guys can actually hear my experience. But if you guys have other questions about that job, leave it in the comments or leave it in the video comments on that video, and I'll definitely let you know about that. So yeah, so I was at Pandora until 2020 March, but I actually was working at UGGs as well. So I started working at UGGs in October 2019. So I was working at both jobs for 6 months at the same time together. UGG, I really liked UGG. UGG was a really good place. Again, I still talk to the people that I worked with at UGG. I was working at a time where it was super busy because it was almost winter time, and UGG is usually busy during the winter time. The summertime, not really, because, you know, it's UGG. It's like boots and like wintry stuff. It's not really that summery. They do have like summer shoes, but not as much as winter boots. The difference between like UGG and Pandora was UGG, I feel like, was more an employee based environment where they cared more about their employees. Pandora, I feel like, was more of a company where they cared about the customers more than the employees. So I really did enjoy UGG because of that. Their discount was absolutely amazing. You can get anything between like 30 to 60% off of their stuff. There are so many boots that I bought that were like $20, $15. I think the cheapest pair of boots that I have is $10. So if you guys like ever checked out my UGG videos, you guys would know that I own a lot of UGGs, and that is why. Customers wise, customers at UGG were actually really that nice. At Pandora, there was like so much entitled, rude customers. A lot of them being females. I don't know why the females in that store, not saying all of the women, but like majority of the women who come and shop at Pandora are so rude. Like they're actually really rude. But then at UGG, it's like, it was just like a chill job. So I usually worked like mornings, so I would work like a 9 to 4 at Pandora, and then at 4:30 to like 10 at UGG. But I was always excited to go to UGG because I knew like it was just going to be like a chill, good job. It's going to be like just like something off your shoulder where you're not like stressed out like I was at Pandora. Other than that, again, customers were good. The training was really good. The first day you get hired, you get a pair of UGGs. Like, yeah. But yeah, that was my experience at UGG. Nothing negative to say, honestly. I really liked working there. Again, everybody was like around my age, so we all like clicked and got along. But yeah, so I was at UGG until March 2020, which is the same time that I was at Pandora. I ended up getting laid off at both jobs, unfortunately, because of the pandemic. It wasn't my choice to leave. Well, it was my choice kind of, but it really wasn't. Being laid off was like a little push because you guys know this pandemic like really hurt everyone. I did not know when I was going back to work. We were told like we'll be back in June because that's when everyone thought the pandemic was going to end. And here we are 2 years later and the pandemic is still a thing. We ended up moving 2 weeks before everything shut down, and we moved even more up north, but it wasn't like that much of a hassle getting to work. It was probably like a 30-minute drive, but because I did not know when I was going back, so basically from March to October I did not work at all. This is when I started doing YouTube in April, and here I am today. Consider this a job because I'm making money from it, so it is a job to me, but it's a job that I absolutely love. But you know, I needed a job outside of YouTube because YouTube, obviously I'm not at that point of where I can just work on YouTube. So I ended up going back on Indeed and I found Winners. So I've been employed at Winners since October 2020 and we are now in April 2022. But like I said, I'm not going to speak about Winners because this isn't the video, but that is basically my experience working at all my jobs. Again, helped me be the person I am in a workplace now, helped me with my customer service skills, me multitasking, me like just having all those good work ethics that I put into my job today. But yeah, guys, that was just a little sit down video with you guys of me telling you guys all the jobs I've worked at. But that does bring us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my little sit down story time, talk to you guys, chill vibe video, because I do really like doing these videos. I do like, you know, just relaxing and talking to the camera and just talking to you guys. So please give this video a huge thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments any questions you guys have, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.